Channel has hit 10,000 subscribers, and as seems to be customary for channels that surpass that mark, I would like to model a play button to sort of celebrate. Let's go to the part design menu in FreeCAD. We're going to, how about create a body, create a sketch. I'll choose the XY plane. And I would like to make a few arcs. That sort of outlines what a play button may look like. Snapping those arcs together like that is something that SolidWorks doesn't do, and I really like that feature in FreeCAD. So there we go. We're going to make these E for equal, E for equal. And make sure that these 2 points are H for horizontal, H for horizontal, V for vertical, V for vertical. To make sure that this is centered, we'll use a symmetric constraint. I don't know if you can hear my neighbor's dog, something's going on over there. And we're over constrained by that horizontal, so we'll get rid of that. And now we are centered and quite stable. We're going to add a point. We're going to make it coincident onto another point so that both of these will be coincident onto our side arcs. That did not snap, so we'll add the coincident constraint. From here, we'll make horizontal to the origin. And now I can add little dimension here. Maybe we can make this a grand total of something like 6 inches wide. And I'm glad that that's scaled properly. Now if I could just adjust this to whatever a play button might look like, I'll call upon dimensions to help me out. Again, that one did not snap on, so we're going to go coincident. And same thing, vertical to the origin. From here, shift V. Maybe we'll make this something like 4 inches. Now I should be able to, that's more like it. That looks a little bit more like a play button. Shift R, and give this something like 5.25. And we can give this something like 8 inches. Now I want to add some fillets because the play button has those smooth edges. Grab these fillets and say E for equal. Shift R for dimension. We'll do something like 0.275 perhaps. And it looks like we've lost our symmetric constraint and a few other constraints. So I'm going to grab these arc centers and say H for horizontal, H for horizontal, V for vertical, and there we go. Now we're fully constrained. Alright, so that will be the body of our play button. Let's close. Next thing that we would want to do is make a datum plane. Now we just sketched on the, I believe the XZ plane. There we go. So highlighting the XZ plane, I'm going to hit the, oh, but we did not sketch on the XZ plane. Let's go perhaps XY. That's a little bit better. So on the XY plane, we want to offset this something like 0.25 inches. We can always update that offset later. I'm going to create a plane. Now I want to make 8 center point arcs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. We're going to highlight these. Horizontal. Go to the next set of points. H again for horizontal. 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 These points. Vertical. Next set points here. Vertical. Vertical. And vertical. I'm sure that there's a few redundant constraints that I added in there. Now we just need to position these. I'm going to create a for reference polyline. A for angle. I'm going to make this 360 divided by 1/8. Oh, that was the problem. So don't accidentally add multiple polylines. That's what will happen. Again, A for angle. I need to add another line. And we should only have to do this a few times. Again, A for angle. 360 divided by 8. Great. Now all we have to do is set a radius. So Shift R for radius. And we'll say 0.125. That should be fine. We'll hide this datum plane with the space bar. Next thing, I want to sketch on the XZ plane again. Datum, well, XY plane, datum plane, there we go. We're going to offset this on the Z axis, negative 0.25. So we've offset it the same amount in the other direction. And this should be a lot easier. I'm going to hide this plane with the space bar and create a sketch on it. Next, I can use my edge import tool. And I'm going to, for simplicity, import every other arc. I think that's all I need. Adding some driving geometry, let's go with a center point arc from one point to the next. And I don't think I need to show the sketch anymore. So to clear up my view, we'll get rid of it with the space bar. There. There. And we're going to keep on going. Okay. Let's tasks and close. I'm going to show my next sketch. Now's the fun part. Let's go with loft. Loft from this sketch to this sketch. Add section. It looks like we've actually lofted from the other sketch, so we're going to add this section. And there is our play button. Here it is in solid form. I do want to change these planes a little bit. Let's go with something like 0.5 Z offset. And I have to do it with the next datum plane as well. There we go. That looks a little bit more like a play button there. I'm going to rebuild. Now we can get started with what we want to put on our play button. I'm going to sketch on this face. I'm going to make that little K that shows up before my videos. In fact, I think polyline would be best. So constrain it, we're going to make those equal. Equal there. Choose perpendicular. I want to do everything by 45, so A for angle, 45, 45. You can also choose a perpendicular constraint instead of making two angles. We'll make these parallel, parallel, parallel. I'm going to add in a perpendicular here. E for equal. Between these points we'll go H for horizontal. E for equal on these points. It's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to add a construction line for spacing and orientation here. Parallel, equal, E for equal on these. V for vertical, H for horizontal. Coming down to 7 degrees of freedom. Let's give this a dimension, maybe something like 0.375. Yeah, nice fat K. Shift V for vertical dimension. We'll go 1 inch exactly. That's kind of cool. We're going to take this line and this point and make sure that they are coincident. More and more like a K, and we're down to 2 degrees of freedom. I want this to be something like 0.75, 0.125. That looks about right. I'm going to close, and with this sketch, let's say pocket. That's actually a really good depth, maybe 0.25. Not bad. Let's change that to wireframe to make sure we haven't gone too deep. I think that looks really good. Alright. Change our draw style back to as is. Go back to part design. I think we picked up some graphical display with the animation workbench though, so we'll get rid of that display with that. Part design. Alright, why don't we, I think those arcs look a little bit too small of a radius, so I'm going to delete my manager here. I'm going to go with additive loft. That's our original sketch, so we're going to edit the sketch. And I'm going to call that 3.75, maybe. No, that didn't do anything, so back to 4 inches, but on this 8 inches here, maybe I'll call that 16 inches. How does that look? That looks more like a play button. That's better. Next thing, we'll probably want some text. I'd like to adorn this with some text, so I'm going to go with the draft workbench. Again, it's the XY plane that we've been working with. I'm going to choose this S, which is text. I could put it in just 0.0. String will make Joko Engineering. Choose a font file. You can download a bunch of font files for free. I think it's a TTF file that you want. So here's a generic font. Again, I'll say 0, height. We can adjust that later. So there is the font file. With this selected, I can extrude. So if you go to the part workbench with the shape string selected, we'll choose extrude part. Maybe make that 0.375. We'll see how that goes. Finally, back to the draft workbench. We can move this. It's nice that we have those tangent lines because, in fact, I'll go to the top view here. You can line it up pretty easily. Alright, with that being done, maybe I can add some additional text. Put on the S here. 000. Height should be fine. Let's go with 10,000 subscribers. Again, choose a font file. Part, extrude, 0.375. Okay. Draft workbench. Move this and switch to the top view, maybe zoom in a little bit to make sure that we are totally centered. Looks good. So that looks pretty good. Of course, I replaced the little play symbol with my K. I think that's not bad. Maybe I can put this on the 3D printer. Last thing I'd probably want to do is create a flat surface. And my strategy for creating a flat surface is, instead of worrying about getting this loft to be normal at the center plane, all I really have to do is sketch again on my XY plane. In fact, I could probably just do this on the part workbench, but I have to start, of course, in the sketcher when I go to the part workbench. We'll create a sketch, but unhighlight XY plane, create a driving rectangle. You really don't even have to fully constrain it, but I will. I use this button to cut my sketch so I can see my origin. Let's go with there. Shift H for horizontal dimension. We'll go with something like 8. Shift V for vertical. We'll go with something like 5. Close, and then we'll say back to part. Maybe I'll do the old subtractive approach. Let's go 1 inch, reversed, and now, I should probably choose extrude, and pocket. So I've chosen my 3 bodies. We'll create a union so that they're fused into one shape. So now I can highlight one body, highlight another body, and cut. And as you can see, now I am flat on the bottom and ready to 3D print. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, join the 10,000 others. Really, this is quite a milestone. When I started, I remember it was May 3rd, 2014. It was a Saturday. I had no idea if I was going to ever hit the 10,000 threshold, and this channel was really started because I was frustrated with ASU that their accreditation and other programs wouldn't teach me CAD, and so I decided I wanted to start a channel that taught CAD better than they ever could. I don't know if I've ever accomplished that, but I want to thank you so much for your support, and you've really made this channel something special. See you in the next video.